Recently, Star Citizen 4.31 Virtue's Descent hit the live build. With this release, we now have access to the Science Wing to continue Dr. Yord's mission tree at the ASD Onyx facilities. But as always for majority of the patches that has released here in 2025, something has gone wrong, and the player base is voicing the words as usual. But today, we are going to go over majority of the stuff that is happening currently and in the future for Star Citizen. You guys already know who it is. It's FC here, and I'd like to welcome everyone back to another episode of Squawk Tawk. Star Citizen 4.31 has arrived and it's here to stay, and it brought us baggage. With its drop, people are still saying that they are encountering the same issues as always. People losing their inventories and overall bad performance during its initial launch on Thursday. Now, CAG did try to give us an explanation on why this can happen to some players versus other players. And they pretty much said during their last Star Citizen Live that it all depends on your items and how it replicates itself when a new patch drops. And sometimes you'll keep your items, sometimes you won't. This is why they always give a warning out before the patch drops to properly store ships, properly store items at certain locations so you don't lose it. It really does suck when it does happen, and I feel for people who lose their entire inventories. But there is some good news here and there. Sometimes if you just wait like a day, your inventory will pop back in just because of reasons. I don't know why that was not explained during the Star Citizen Live, but that is something that does happen. And I know it does suck. You can follow all the rules, follow all the procedures and everything, do it by the book, and you can still lose your items and there's no way to get it back. It really does hurt the way how you play the game because all that progress is just lost, wiped, gone, clean. Now, I always say this every single patch drop, and I've said it over a course of many videos that I have posted, that the game is an alpha and every patch you should always expect to lose something or everything. It does suck, I know, and I feel for you guys. But at least CAG is trying to remedy it with, Vulkan and making the servers better and a bunch of other crap. Recently, they put out a couple of hot fixes and stuff for 4.31 to try making it run better, but still the damage has been done and it's going to continue to happen for a very long time. Currently, there is no guarantee if this is going to be fixed anytime soon. It could take a few months, or it could take a year, or all the way till when Star Citizen 1.0 actually releases. So it does suck, and we just gonna have to deal with it in the meantime and continue playing the game and enjoying it with our homies. If we lose our stuff, we just have to continue playing it and, regain our items because it does suck. But at least we do know that CAG knows about it and, they're trying to remedy this issue. So, as I always say, CAG do at CAG do, and we just got to be patient to see what happens in the near future. CitizenCon 2025 is quite literally just right around the corner, with it only being about a month away. Now, this CitizenCon is going to be quite unique, and it's not going to be like any other CitizenCon that we have experienced in the past. First, this entire CitizenCon is going to be a pre-recording, and also Squadron 42 is going to be completely absent of the entire convention. I'm probably sure they're doing this on purpose because they don't want to spoil anything about the game since it is nearing its launch. But hold up, take what I'm about to say next with a grain of salt since it is more or less speculation. With this approaching CitizenCon, we should expect to see a whole bunch of tech previews and game mechanics being introduced into the PU. Most likely things from Squadron 42 that is being put into Star Citizen. Keep in mind that both of these are separate entities. Now, I do hope to see, some further development on crafting gameplay, base building gameplay, and, potentially engineering. They keep on bringing it up every once in a while in very small little hints to us, talking about that it's coming. So hopefully during this very short CitizenCon, it's only 2 hours long, that they're going to talk about this and that. There is a lot of questions being thrown up in the air about what is going to be talked about during the CitizenCon, what's going to be shown. We don't know. All we got to do now is just pretty much wait to see what comes out for us to be able to view during the whole entire presentation. Now, one thing I have seen citizens talking about the most, what is buzzing around Spectrum and Reddit, is going to be the Nick system. Hopefully CAG does give us a really nice preview of what is to come for the next system to be introduced into the live build of Star Citizen. What we do know is that CAG is sitting on a mountain of assets. They have so much stuff made that they can throw into the game once it's further polished. And so we're going to see a bunch probably during this entire CitizenCon. We're going to see satellites, planets, and weather previews, mechanics, all this stuff. It's going to hit the verse sooner or later, and so I am excited to see what they have to show and talk about the next system. Hopefully we may get a small tech preview, kind of like last year or year before. They had a build that was specifically for Pyro for people to play on. It wasn't the full system, but we got a small little taste. But hopefully they bring back some of the other stuff that's been missing out of the game, like the solar flares and pyro that was supposed to be in there as well, maybe quantum boosting, and a bunch of other small little tidbits that they've talked about. Maybe they will finally allow us to have remote access to our ships. Let me push a button on my Moby Glass while I'm 1 kilometer away to open the rear hatch so I can fly my hover bike in. That's what we all want. That's what we're all asking for. Please, CIG, make it happen. And boom, that is pretty much it. That is today's Squawk Talk. Again, like I said earlier, I can't wait to see what CAG unveils during this year's CitizenCon. I feel like that they're gonna throw a lot in a small amount of time. There's probably gonna be, maybe 1 to 2 ship releases. Word on the street is that Kruger Intergalactic is making another light fighter, so we may see something like that be talked about or shown off during CitizenCon. The Paladin should be released hopefully by then or during IAE. Well, we don't know what to expect. We should be expecting a lot, so just keep in mind. Also, before I end things, I would like to remind everyone that I am hosting a giveaway, 3 separate items. One of the items is going to be an LTI Drake Golem, which is the most recent mining ship that is into the verse, and then a Huia's puzzle box. Now, on the third one, something has changed with it. I have a little issue with it, so I'm going to have to remove that item and throw something else on there. I haven't decided what I want to throw on there. It could be a starter ship or maybe that brand new medical version Morozov armor. I'll let you guys decide on what the third item should be switched out to, since the Vandal Skull is not an option no more for the giveaway. I do apologize, want to make that very clear, let you guys know. Again, I do apologize. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. But yeah, again, thank you guys for coming out for today's Squawk Talk. Make sure you guys rate, comment, and subscribe. Please slap that like button because it really does help the biggest bird in the verse be seen by other people. But you guys already know who it is. It's FC, aka Fried Chicken. Big Bird out.